Hello everyone, it's nice to be back. Juan Finance here, and in this short video, we're going to cover the top performing bond funds as of fourth quarter 2021. So here are the features of bond funds: medium risk, medium potential return for moderate investors, and investment horizon would actually depend on your tenor. For example, for 1 to 3 years, that's going to be intermediate bond funds. For 3 to 5 years, that's going to be medium term bond funds. And for 5 years and beyond, that's going to be for long term bond funds. Okay, so let's jump first to peso currency. We have here our benchmark, the government yield curve. Now, if you're going to look at here for 10-year value 6 months ago, that's around 4.035%. But uh, as of January 3, if you're going to look at here, it's actually up 4.77%. So there's an uptick in interest rates. So we all know the impact of this one. If you can recall, in our previous videos, when interest rates go up, bond prices would actually go down. Okay, so we may observe some of the performances of our bond funds are actually quite low compared to their previous performance, or their performance could be very, very similar to the performance of the money market funds. Okay, so here we have performing on top of our list. We have Coco Life fixed income, that's 0.89%, so that's less than 1%. And then here we have AFM Peso 0.86%, China Bank 0.68, BPI Invest 0.37, followed by Antram 0.11%, net of taxes and fees. So kung meron kang 100,000 and then you invested a year ago, the returns could have been this. For example, Coco Life 890 pesos, for ALFM Peso 860, China Bank 680, for BPI Invest 370, and for Atram that's 110. Okay, let's try to zoom in to Coco Life. It's actually a mutual fund. 1,000 pesos for minimum investment is actually very affordable. Additional is 500 pesos. But for the sales load of 2%, I think this is pretty much high because the usual that I encounter is around 1.0% to 1.5%. Okay, but this one is around 2%. And then for the top composition, fixed rate instrument for up to 1 year, and majority of that is actually here. We have cash and cash equivalents 21%, and notes 43%. Okay, so though we have here some notes that are maturing beyond 1 year up to 5 years, 12% of the allocation, but it's a good thing to know that not more than half of the portfolio is exposed to uh, more than a year. Okay, maturity. Here we have 43% allocated to notes with up to 1 year maturity. And the performance of the fund for a year, that's 1.04%, versus the benchmark. Okay, so they don't have the benchmark figure here. Okay, that's it. They have 1.04% for a year cumulative. Okay, so for dollar currency bond funds, we have here our benchmark. It's the US government bond yield curve. Again, the yellow one or the orange one is actually 6 months ago value of the 10-year. That's 1.4%. And the most recent one is actually the blue line. That's around 1.6% as of January 3. Again, we have the same direction. Interest rates going up from 1.4 to 1.6. Therefore, the bond prices should be going down. So here are the top performing bond funds. We have China Bank on top of our list here, 1.57%, Elephant Dollar 1.15, BPI Invest 0.26, Phil Equity Dollar Income, it's performing negative 0.1%, almost flat, as well as Odyssey Philippine Dollar Bond negative 0.28%. So if you have your $10,000 in investment for a year, China Bank Dollar could have given you $157, ALFM Dollar Bond Fund 115, for BPI Invest 26, and for Philippine Equity and Odyssey, they have negative figures here. Okay, negative $1 and negative 28. dollars respectively. So let's try to check China Bank dollar. Minimum investment is 100 and additional investment is at least $100. Now the classification though is actually a long-term bond fund. So that's why it's really performing on top of our lists because it has long-term bond funds on its portfolio. So here our risk rating is actually good for moderate risk investors. And the trust fee is 0.06. This is actually very, very low. In my experience, again, for bonds, it's around 1.0 to 1.5%, but this one is 0.06%, so very, very affordable. Now, for the stats of the fund, average duration is 3.7 or let's say 4%. So your investment horizon should be at least 4%. Okay, so it should be equal to the weighted average duration of the fund to make you immune to interest rate volatility. Now, the 1 year net of taxes and fees return here is actually 1.97 versus the benchmark of negative 2.21%. So we can say that the fund is still performing better, even though we have a very, very uh, low figure here. It's almost like a performance of a money market fund a year ago. Okay, so these are the top 10 holdings of the fund. So here are our sources. So that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you learned something. Please do like the video, and if you want others to understand, kindly share this video. And if you need to know more, kindly subscribe so you won't miss any future videos that we're going to make. Thanks for dropping by.